Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining me here today on this Friday Review podcast. Looking forward to getting into the eclectic show. You know, each and every Friday, we're going through at least a half a dozen topics, everything going on in the private practice, over at Equilibrium Nutrition, IHP, going over product reviews, book reviews, nutritional supplements, health-based gadgets, research, and so much more. This is the fun show. This is basically how my mind works. I'm jumping from one thing to the other. All really those passions revolve around health and fitness and psychology, everything to do with both mind and body. And that includes spirituality. That includes the emotional components of being a whole, healthy person. I really believe that it's not enough to just be physically in good shape, that you should also be healthy as well, and that you should enjoy robust mental health and good stamina, good energy. And so that's really what we're trying to preach over here on the Cabral Concept, and simply taking it one day at a time. Hopefully you've been joining us, well, for at least the past couple hundred podcasts or so. We're on episode 1596 today, approaching episode 1600, which will be here next Tuesday. Looking forward to that show, although, you know what? It's just kind of, they're all the same in terms of the number that it is. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, so whether it's 100th episode after 100 days or it's 1600 after 1600 days in a row. But every single day, what I'm trying to do is bring you just a little bit more information about health. Not just about health, because, you know, there's a lot of information on health, but it's not how do you apply it in your own life. So it's nice to read about research, and we'll be going over research today, but what does that mean for you? And so that's why I do the daily show, is to say, okay, you've got gut-based issues, autoimmune issues, skin rashes, migraines, kids have health issues. We're trying to boost our immunity. All right, let's go through that. Let's unpack the information. Let's share with you exactly what we do in our private practice, and we've been doing now for 20 years, and how can you and your family benefit as well. So, you know, again, great to have you here. Thank you for joining, as always. This past week, our Motivation and Mindset Monday, we were really going over one of the biggest truths, which is don't compare yourself with someone else where they are right now. We look at our role models. We look at people. They say, oh, wow, they've got everything figured out, right? They've got everything figured out. Well, you're comparing their finished product with your starting point. So check out that show. That was episode 1592. Wednesday's show, hidden signs of high blood sugar. A lot of people asked about basically what to look for before someone gets diabetes and weight gain and all that other information that goes along with it. Yesterday's show, basically, is the virus making a comeback? Should we still be concerned? Updates on the virus. I want to bring you that. Ideally, I wouldn't be bringing it to you. Honestly, I wish I didn't. You know, I wish I didn't have to make that show. But until the media starts to be a little bit more balanced and honest with you, I'm always going to try to tip the scales the other way, to simply bring you the truth. Not to say don't worry, not to say, you know, don't be concerned, but to say, listen, let's call this for what it is. Let's be smart. Let's be safe, but let's not go deep into paranoia, which is one of the research studies that I'm going to show you today as well. All right, and now that brings us to today's show. So yesterday was 1595. Today is 1596. First things first, what I want to share with you is this week over at, well, first things first, let me just say, we have Father's Day coming up this weekend. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 21st, right? It's always a Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's always a Sunday coming up. So we've got Father's Day, June 21st, at least here in the U.S., and of course, I want to say happy Father's Day out there to all the guys out there, you know, who are fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, soon-to-be fathers. And, you know, just say we recognize you here in the Cabral Concept as well. We've got a lot of integrative health practitioners that are fathers, that are dads, looking to do great work for their family and their community as well. So happy Father's Day. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. And now let's shift over to what we have going on at Equilibrium Nutrition this week. And what it is $100 off our stress, sleep, and hormone lab. Now, this is significant. It really is, because this is not what I would refer to as an overly expensive lab. It's just not. I mean, there's a cost to all labs. I mean, that's the truth. Blood work is not a lab. Blood work is a diagnostic tool that your medical doctor will use to see if you have disease. Blood is not the end-all, be-all. Saliva, urine, hair samples, stool samples, all of those collect data as to what's going on inside the body at what's called a homeostatic level, or I should say at a tissue-based level, because that's what's feeding the blood. So really important that you look at these labs. And the stress, sleep, and hormones lab, you're looking at your estrogen levels for both men and women, progesterone levels, estrogen dominance in women, if there is that. We look at DHEA and testosterone, anti-aging hormones, strength hormones, libido hormones, all that. We're looking at cortisol throughout the day. First thing in the morning, we're looking at cortisol awakening response. Is it too high, too low, or right where it should be? Then we're looking at around noon, we're looking at mid-afternoon, and we're looking at before bed. And this is just a simple saliva-based test. It is one of the first tests that I ever ran when I was 19 years old that set me on my path to healing my body. I wouldn't be where I am today, I can tell you that for sure, without functional medicine. Hands down, wouldn't be where I am today without these at-home lab tests. And it always blows my mind that 20 plus years later, I would be here offering these labs to people all around the world. And just grateful to be a part of a company, an amazing company that is the first to really do that globally. So I just want to give a shout out to my team, an amazing team. I am not the Equilibrium Nutrition team. I am the spokesperson for Equilibrium Nutrition. I am the formulator of the products. It's the labs that I use. I basically took my offline private practice and said, what if we could do this for people all over the world? That was the crazy idea that I had. And, it didn't happen overnight, but about 2 years later, with the help of our brilliant COO, Carl, which many of you have spoken to, I'm sure, before, helped to develop the team. He's a true executive and has been for many, many years. And we put together some of the brightest minds in the industry, and that's a good thing because we need to be able to figure out how to get these labs to New Zealand, Australia, all over Europe, Africa, Iceland, Canada, South America, like you name it. We're trying to get these into all countries because it shouldn't just be working with your doctor. You're able to get these labs. So anyway, I could go on and on about that. Always love to give my team a shout out because honestly, they are the ones that make this happen. I set the vision, but they are the ones that make it happen. And they are the ones that make Equilibrium Nutrition great. So this week, while supplies last, $100 off that lab. I mean, it is a great deal. I don't know if it's about a third off or so, but it's a good amount of money. Of course, it's $100 off. So definitely check that out. That's at equilibriumnutrition.com. All right, I want to switch right now into my product review of the week. So you know that I love the health-based field, but I am a tech-based nerd. There's no doubt about that. I love tech. It was a dream come true to go to the Consumer Electronic Show, let's see, almost a year ago now. And I'm lucky that I did because I'm sure that it's not going to be held this year. And I love tech. I love gadgets. And it's kind of funny because I'm looking at, well, how do we reduce EMFs? How do we reduce this? How do we do that? But I still love tech and I still love all of these different electronics. Well, this new scale is no doubt right up my alley. And I think that you'll enjoy it as well. So let me share it with you right now. Many expensive scales out there. I'm actually going to see the price on this because I bought this myself. Let me see if I can find it for you right now. I've been using it for a couple weeks. I always try things out before I would ever share it with you because only about, I would say, half of the products, maybe a third of the products, ever make it to the light of day on this podcast. And that's simply because they're just not good enough. Like I just wouldn't, if I'm not using it myself, I'm not going to recommend it to you. And in about 4 weeks from now, you'll see my resource pages and I'll just show you like, here's the scale that I use. Here's the pillows that I use. Here's the, wake light that I use. All right. So here's the thing. I got offered a scale to promote, $150. That's the price of the scale. Now it's a great scale. And I'm not saying there won't be a better one in the future, but I found this scale for $39.99, and it does the same exact thing. So if I can save you $110 for the same exact thing, I'm going to do that every single time. So it's called the Renpho scale. I don't even know if that's how it's pronounced, but it's RENPHO. So I gave it my best phonetic pronunciation. So it's called the Renpho Bluetooth Body Fat Scale. And I'm going to link it up for you. So get a lot of links today for research. I've got a lot of links for products as well. Head on over to stevencabral.com/1596. That's where I'm going to put the exact link of the exact scale that I'm using. Now, I want to show it to you. And they do actually a really good job in the second photo showing you everything that it measures. But check this out. You step on the scale and it looks like an ordinary glass scale. It's a very nice scale. I got the white one. They make a white and a black one. This was just clean white. In my house, we basically have white comforters, white pillowcases, off-white walls, white molding, white floors, just super, super clean. We just try to keep things really simple, really clean in my house. My wife makes sure that there's no extra of my books or anything lying around. It's just very nice. She keeps me in my place. We'll put it that way. I don't keep a lot of things out. And this scale slides right underneath this towel rack, essentially, that we have. But the nice thing is this. It's not just a scale, because the truth is this, that my weight's never going to fluctuate more than about 5 to 6 pounds. And I've given you podcasts on why you really shouldn't fluctuate more than that amount. So in the wintertime, I might be up 5 or 6 pounds. And I know that in 1 week, I could lose that weight if I wanted to with the 7-day detox. That's the truth. So here's the thing, though. I still want to look at it, because what it does is it gives me my weight, BMI, body fat percentage, fat-free body weight, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, body water, meaning hydration levels, skeletal muscle, muscle mass, bone mass, protein, basal metabolic rate, which is basically how many calories you burn per day without exercise, and then your metabolic age. It's a beautifully designed app. You just download the Renfo app, you get the scale, you step on, and that's basically it. And I added actually my whole family to it. We certainly don't weigh my daughters, that's for sure, all the time. But they see me doing it just like they might see you, and they want to hop on. And I don't want it to throw off my weight on the scale, because everybody gets their own little app. And so you can certainly measure that. And we do it as something fun. We don't do it certainly as checking in on your body. And that's not what it's supposed to be. It's always supposed to be about health. And that's what I teach my daughters for sure. But it gives you all of your data in one place. And it's really, really nice at doing that. So again, I'm not a spokesman for the product, but I always bring you my favorite gadgets. And this one, for $39.99, I don't think you can get a better scale right now. I mean, again, will I update this in a year from now with a better scale? Probably. But right now in 2020, this is the best one that I found. And I went on Amazon and they have 42,000 reviews. And it's I don't even know, a 4.5-star rating. So what are some of the cons of this? Well, the cons are that if you're at a good weight, if you're at basically your body weight, it's not going to change dramatically. But you still get all these great stats. And then your metabolic age, they ask you to put in your age. And so it never really goes too far away. So for example, this only says I'm 2 years younger than my actual chronological age. And to me, that doesn't make any sense, because if I would have put in that I was 20 years old, it would have told me I was 20 years old metabolic age. And the reason is that my body fat isn't really too much different than it was when I was 22 years old. My weight's not too much different than when I was 20 years old. That part, take that with a grain of salt. The weight is good. The BMI is spot on. The body fat percentage, plus or minus about 2 to 3%, because it's bioelectrical impedance. So again, there's a variance based on how hydrated you are, etc. The fat-free body weight, well, if your body fat percentage is correct, then it's spot on, right? Spot on. Subcutaneous fat and visceral fat, plus or minus. It's not going to be exact, because again, we're using bioelectrical impedance, but good, but very good. Body water, to a degree, it's very good. It's not looking at intracellularly, it's looking at extracellular. So very good. Skeletal muscle, dead on. Muscle mass, dead on. Again, it has to have the right body fat percentage to be able to do that, but looking good. Protein, it's taking a percentage. It's good. Basal metabolic rate, yeah, it's excellent. It's based on basically fitness, your weight, and your body fat. So it looks very good. And metabolic age, I would say take that with a grain of salt. So overall, really nice scale. And I'm glad that I bought it. We'll put it that way. Definitely worth the money. And I'll link it up today at stevencabral.com/1596. Okay, next up, this is actually a reader-based question. And I figured, well, if one person has it, I think it's a really good topic to go over. And so that was basically a fear of taking licorice during pregnancy. And a very valid point and a very fair point, because that I don't believe that people need to be taking licorice right now, or olive leaf, or cat's claw, or manuka honey, although manuka honey can be taken every day, that's for sure, or mullein extract, or dong quai, or any of these great herbs, right? You don't need to be taking them for the virus. What you need to be doing is just simply your daily foundational protocol, your good multi, your good mineral, all that great stuff, your daily probiotic support, your daily omega, your vitamin D, your vitamin C, and your zinc. That's what you want, okay? Don't live in fear. Boost your immune system, keep yourself healthy, but don't live in fear. Now, if you get the virus, of course, then you could use those other things. However, during pregnancy, it's a very valid point. You should not be using licorice during pregnancy. And the reason is very, very simple for licorice, that it increases, like even high doses of caffeine, same thing, but it can increase preterm labor. All right. So it's very, very important to look at that. Miscarriage, preterm labor, obviously premature birth. So we want to look at that. That's important. That goes for any constrictants. That would even be like, you could think about it like using senna leaf or something like that would cause constrictions, contractions, castor oil internally. Again, not externally, but internally. So it's a very valid point. However, I actually want to then differentiate, because during pregnancy, you can actually use deglycerinated licorice root. Okay. So it's DGL. Now it's licorice, but what you do is you actually take out the glycerin. And when you do that, you then remove the interactions it would have with medications, with constrictions, with raising blood pressure, etc. So it's called DGL, deglycerinated licorice, okay, DGL. Now, what is it useful for? Well, we use it for people with, again, this is not a treatment protocol. We're not curing. We are not diagnosing any disease here. But let's say people have a little extra acid in that stomach. Let's say their stomach isn't quite as balanced as it should be. There's a lot of inflammation there. What we use is that DGL. It works great. It's worked great for many, many centuries. And I should say actually many thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine. So what does it look like? Well, the products that are going to help you the most for those particular issues, and why the person asked is because they were doing the CBO protocol, they finished, they got pregnant, and they want to say, hey, can I still use the healthy gut support? Again, use your favorite products. I'm always saying that, use your favorites. But the healthy gut support contains L-glutamine, N-acetyl D-glucosamine, DGL, aloe vera leaf, and marshmallow root extract. So all of those clinically proven to be able to help with that digestive-based upset, extra acid in the stomach, inflammation, etc. Amazing product. Again, I run all my labs. I just ran probably more information that you need, but I just ran our brand new stool test because we're using a new lab for the stool test for the bacteria and parasites test. And I said, listen, if we're going to be recommending this test for other people, I need to use it first. And so that's what I did. And I will be happy to let you know that I have a clean bill of health, a very healthy colon and digestive tract. So, but again, I use this product, the Healthy Gut Support, twice a year. It's a great product, good for helping out with intestinal permeability. If I ever end up using larger amounts of, let's say, like even oregano oil because I get a cold or a virus or something, I'll take the Healthy Gut Support afterwards. And it's just a great product. But the whole point for today was the DGL is okay. And again, you can look it up. Again, I can't give you medical-based advice. That's not what this podcast is all about. But definitely check it out. DGL, deglycerinated licorice, is different than regular licorice, and it does not have the same contraindications. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Now let's go over some great research for you today. I thought you would find these helpful. One thing that we have going on right now with the virus is a lot of fear. Now, the issue is this. Fear comes from being uncertain about your future. Fear comes from feeling like you don't have control, that you lack control. So what I want people to do is understand that we're going to get through this. 99.8% of people are going to be fine, going to be good. We're going to watch out for the 2% of people who are 65 plus, mainly 75 plus, or those who have pre-existing immune-based issues. We need to look out for them. That's the truth. Let's make sure that we go out in public, in crowded places, to get foods, to get whatever they need for them. We can help out people, for sure. We can have a compromise, but here's the issue. Fear breeds paranoia. And this just came out. This is June 9th out of Yale University. And what they're finding is this. In times of unexpected uncertainty, such as a sudden appearance of a global pandemic, people may be prone to paranoia. And this just came out in eLife. That's the journal. Now, this was seen, they went all the way back to the ancient fires of Rome. They went to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And what they basically said is that during these times of paranoia, everybody is looking for someone to blame. And this is a normal human reaction. You need something to revolt against in order to feel like you're blaming someone else and they're to blame. We're trying to figure this out. We know it's them. They're the bad guys or girls, and we need to stick to our team, the safety numbers. Let's get our team stronger, right? Here's the issue. This is not, people like, I know that at certain companies, friends of mine, their employees, their contractors are mad at them that they should have done more, whatever it is. Listen, nobody can do any more. Everybody's doing their very best. Of course, there's certain exceptions and all of those things, but nobody knew this was going to come. Nobody was planning for this. Now, there's conspiracies that some people knew, but let's put it this way. Most regular people had no idea. I had no idea this was coming. Nobody had it. We're all trying to do our best, right? Again, derisions isn't the right word, but don't draw a line in the sand and saying these people are bad, these people are good, they don't wear a mask because they're evil, or those people wear a mask so they're living in too much fear. Like, we don't need to do that. People are trying to figure out the best way they know how to get through this. And so what I want us all to know is, first, we're going to get through this. And very likely, you're listening to this podcast, you're going to be just fine. Keep the immune system boosted. Be smart. Don't purposely, be careful around people that are coughing. But for the most part, you are going to be okay. This is not what we first believed it to be. Now, still serious. If you listen to yesterday's show, you hear that. Still serious, but not to the level that the media is making it out to be. Okay? Now, and again, we can get through this. We can work together, both sides, everybody together, without having to create, enemies in the process. So I just want to kind of bring that to your attention, is that this is a normal human reaction, but we don't want fear to lead to paranoia. We believe that people are out to get us, or one side's good, one side is bad. All right, next up, I know that I give conventional medicine and the media a hard time, and I do, but I only give them a hard time when I believe that they really are and that we need to share the truth around this. But just to show you that I do look at both sides, right now, they've actually developing an antibiotic that is able to still kill bacterial-based infections without becoming antibiotic resistant. So here's the issue. For example, myself, I grew up with a Z-Pack in my closet, no exaggeration, at all times. Took over 3,000 capsules of amoxicillin before the age of 17. Part of that was I was on amoxicillin for 3 years, twice a day by my dermatologist. So, that's 1,000 days times 2. That's 2,000 capsules. And certainly in my years before that, we used to swallow amoxicillin easily 4 or 5 times a year from our pediatrician, who was just, if you had the sniffles, you would get an antibiotic. Well, here's the issue. You become pretty much antibiotic resistant when you take that much amoxicillin. Well, they've developed a new drug. This came out June 3rd, 2020 out of Princeton University. Of course, I will link this up today on the show. And I believe it's called, I think it's abbreviation. And I'll link up the article for you, the research. SH, it doesn't even, this is in the lab right now. SCH-79797. I have no idea how they got that specific number, but I want to bring you this, is that these things are important, is that we do look at both conventional medicine for acute-based care and then, of course, natural health for any chronic-based issues. The reason why I mention that is that acute-based care, like if you have a staph infection or you have a bacterial-based infection, let's just say MRSA or something like that, and it's antibiotic resistant, your life's in danger. It really is. And so, yes, you can use natural-based protocols, but if your life's in danger, I would recommend using a conventional medicine and emergency-based approach. We need both forms of medicine. One isn't better than another. We just don't want to use the conventional-based form for chronic-based disease because it simply doesn't work. You're just masking symptoms. We all know this. It's just conventional medicine. They don't have another answer because they're not trained in natural health. And also, I'm not trained as a surgeon, and I'm not trained as a chiropractor, and I'm not trained as a lot of other things. So I outsource for those. And so this is something to just keep in mind. And again, I want to stay balanced. All right. One more study. I want to bring you this. And this is, published September. Oh, it's about a year ago. Okay. Well, it's new to me. It was published in the International Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry. It says that those who are most prone to migraines are more prone to getting dementia later in life. And the reason why I bring this up is not to say that if you have migraines now, you're going to get dementia. That's absolutely not the truth. The reason I bring this up is this. This is a new finding. It still needs to go through more studies. But if we have inflammation up in the cranial-based nerves, in the trigeminal region of the neck, up towards the brain and the head, for migraines, well, that could then affect dopamine receptors, neural synapses, et cetera, in the brain. But here's the nice thing. You're able to overcome migraine-based issues. You really are. And I've mentioned this many, many times. You can look up migraines on my podcast. You can just go to stevencabral.com/podcasts. And in the search bar, just type in migraine. That's it. You'll be able to find my previous shows on that. You'll see that we'll be able to figure out whether it's a histamine issue, an imbalance between calcium and magnesium, an imbalance between magnesium and sodium, not enough potassium in the diet. We can look at exaggeration of mast cell production, cytokines, which I kind of talked about before with histamines. We can look at biomechanical deviations in the cervical vertebrae. That means the spine, the neck part, this basically the spine where your neck is. We can look at all sorts of things that could be leading to that. Food sensitivities, right? Gut-based issues. Many of these things lead to headaches and migraines. I had a headache every single mid-afternoon without fail for about a decade. And allergist told me to take Sudafed during the day and, of course, Advil when I needed it. And then it was like, okay, take Claritin D. And that was their answer. That's just not the right thing to do. It's not the healthy thing to do. You can figure out those underlying root causes. You can run some at-home functional medicine lab tests. You can begin to explore what your imbalances are. Too many omega-6s, too many omega-3s. But you'll be able to figure out. So if you figure out why you have the migraines, well, now you don't have them anymore. Now, by this process, we say, well, if you don't have the migraines, well, then you're going to be hopefully less likely then to get dementia. So I just wanted to bring you that. Remember, there is silver lining. You can figure out what's going on with your health. No doubt about it. We're happy to help. Any questions, just feel free to ask them at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our free Facebook group. You can email support@equilibriumnutrition.com. Let us know how we can help. We are here to help. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. And again, all links for today's show, all reviews, all products will be at stevencabral.com/1596. I'll talk with you tomorrow on our Cabral House Calls. Take care. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.